Transactions in DXFleet are going to be located under the transactions menu here and then under transactions. So let's navigate to the transactions page and just take a look at what we figured under transactions. When you go to transactions, you will see a standard date range selection here, an account selection, site selection, and a record type. So we're going to look at, let's just drop down the selection and say for the last 7 days, we're going to look at those transactions. And in order to select this, you'll need to apply any of the filters that you have here in order for this to update. So when I hit that, you'll see that we only have 200 records. If I change it to the 30 days and we hit apply, now we have 1,000 records. So this will allow you to poke around and find what you are looking for. If you're looking for a particular transaction on a particular day, it's a lot easier to find it if you're only looking for a certain day. If you need to select one day, just double click on the day and it'll have the start and end date as the same day and hit apply. Now we only have 10 records to look through. That's a lot easier than looking through a few thousand. Also note, a weird quirk about DXFleet is the search up here at the top right. It's really nice that you can search for things, but you'll also note that the way that DXFleet loads the transactions on the page is it's searching the current page. So if I'm looking for a transaction and I have 1,000 transactions down here, I'm only going to see the items on the page in that. So if I increase my search results to 100, for example, I'll have a better chance of finding that in the search if I hit this here. We just don't want to load all the data all the time for the, or it'll start slowing down your transactions page unnecessarily. So if you're doing a search and something is on the page, you'll find it right away. If I'm looking for, I'm looking for the transaction right after this, and I don't have it filtered, I'm not going to find it. Now, if I have a different range here, let's do this. And let's go to one that's not on this page. So let's go to the next page. I don't have that many. Let's do 10 records. I have 18. Okay, so now we have 5665. And if we go to the next one, 5664. So if I'm looking for 5665, I'm not going to see it because I'm only looking at the last 8 records on this page. If I go back and I hit the search again, I'm now going to find it. So just keep in mind that if you're doing a search and you don't find it, it doesn't mean the transaction's not there. It just means that the data hasn't loaded into DXFleet, and so you may not be searching the right content. So that's where the filters really come into play. You really want to filter DXFleet to show you the thing that you're looking for and not a whole bunch of other stuff, because it's just going to make your life harder to find one transaction out of thousands if you're trying to find one transaction out of 1,000. So select date range is a really good one. Account selection. So now if we could say, I only want to see certain account, well, that's going to significantly reduce the amount of transactions that I'm looking for. So you could just select that account. Most of these are network transactions, so we're not going to see any of these count, but this will be one way to filter. So you could select the transactions that only in account 1, for example. I'd select this, I'd hit apply, and then my result here on the bottom would be only transactions from this account. The site, if you have multiple sites, all the transactions being displayed currently are for all sites. So we can restrict it more by selecting only a particular site. And then this one comes in really handy for record type selection. What type of record are we looking for? Yeah, you could do by driver, by vehicle. Okay. But the ones that are important are, if I'm looking for a network transaction, say I have proprietary cards and network cards, and I only want to find a network transaction, network only restriction will allow you to see only the network ones. That might allow you to filter out some of that. If you're looking for a transaction, say a bad odometer, you could do a bad odometer restriction here. If you're looking for a transaction with a 0 quantity, something that failed on site, you don't know why, you want to see what that transaction was, you could pop under 0 quantity, hit 0 quantity and apply. And now you're looking at all the failed transactions that don't have quantity on there. And that's really going to help you locate those ones that are like problems, for example. Incomplete transactions are transactions where, for whatever reason, the card is on the fuel site controller and it's able to fuel because the card exists on the fuel site controller as valid, but for whatever reason, it doesn't exist in DX Fleet. Maybe nobody created it. Maybe somebody had existing cards on the controller and they never did that to DX Fleet. Incomplete means that the card processed a transaction, but the transaction doesn't know who to associate the card to, so it's flagged as incomplete. And you can run an incomplete transaction report to find those, but an incomplete transaction will allow you to filter for incomplete transactions. So if you're looking for something that's incomplete, you could do that also. So the filters allow you to really kind of tailor what you're looking at on the screen, be able to find what you need to find right away. You can also save preferences. So if I want to look at a certain thing over and over again, you can save the preference. And when I come back to this page, those preferences will be here. So that's helpful too. So if, for example, I say I want to look at the last 7 days and I want to look at fuel transactions, I could save this preference. And then when I jump out, I jump back in. I don't need to refilter everything. You may still need to change some filters depending on what you're looking for this time, but it'll allow you to save your preference based on your user logged in. And you can clear those preferences if you say something you don't like and it's an annoyance, that you can clear it. Now, on this transaction page, there's other things to look at. We have a toggle here. This will allow you to turn on and off different fields. So here, if we wanted to turn on more options, we could see some options on the screen. It will clutter it if you turn on too much stuff. So if, for example, I only want to see a few things, then you can turn on a few things. If you need an additional thing, you can turn on. This will allow you to see more data on there. So say I know a transaction happened at a particular time, turning on the time field will allow me to see that so I can easily find the transaction that I'm looking for. Here, we have some basic options. So, transaction number, site ID, date, time, account, the card number, the product. We've added this product and this termination message to DX Fleet. That's really helpful to know, if you have somebody that fueled and they fueled a diesel transaction, it might be easier to find now that you could see what the product was. And then the termination code is, how did the transaction end? Did it end normally? Did it end because it didn't see any more pulses on the equipment? And if you're looking at zero quantity transactions, it definitely might be helpful to know, why did that happen? Why did they select something they were restricted by? Did they enter a number that didn't exist in DX Fleet? All of that is information that you want to have. And so we've added it to the transaction page so that you can easily find what you're looking for. Another way to search things, instead of just doing the filtered view, if you wanted to, you can also click export. It is going to export the stuff that you have filtered. So keep that in mind. So if you want to do a broader search for something, you could select a longer range of time and things, and then you can select export. So the export's going to take it out of DX Fleet and give you an Excel file or a CSV file that you can search in Excel. So that's helpful. So you hit export here, and it's not going to just download to your browser. It's going to go to this reports tab, downloads. So you just need to navigate to reports, downloads, and now you have a download here that you can download to PC. And we have our Excel transactions in an Excel format, which just makes it easier to do filters in Excel, to find stuff that you need. So that's another way to do it. So on the transaction page, again, you're just going to go to that export option at the top. The plus icon will allow you to create a manual transaction. We'll have another quick video on how to create a manual transaction. These are only for proprietary cards. You can't do any network transactions, manual transaction. But I'll do another little quick video here in a little bit for that. If you have this import option, so this would be to import an incomplete record that you have fixed. So you would filter by incomplete, and then you would be able to select import, and then you would see the import summary. If you click this, That again would be if you had a card that was missing in Fleet, somebody has done a transaction that was valid, it's synced to DX Fleet, it's flagged it as incomplete, you've gone in and created the card in DX Fleet to fix it. Now you need to fix the transactions. You could do that by filtering incomplete, coming over here, selecting import. You have to hit the apply on the filter to get this to work. So this will be grayed out until you hit incomplete apply. You would hit import. It would look for the transactions that have been fixed, and then it'll give you a summary here. And that's what those two buttons are for import and import summary. So you have those options. And down here at the bottom, you basically have your items per page. How many items are we showing on this page? And you have the next page options to be able to jump back and forth between your transaction records throughout here. So that is the transactions view and the export options for the transactions. You could also export the transactions under the transaction export, which we'll go over next. But this will allow you to filter the selection a little bit more in the UI. So if you see all the data that you need on the user interface, you could export specifically that. And so it gives you just a little bit extra that you could do here that you could do in the transaction export, but it's just a little bit different. So just keep in mind that there are two different methods to export your transactions.